A way of life. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Just wanted to come on here to do my career series. It's something I've been working on for quite some time now, and I'm really excited to get it out there. I've already done careers for the North and South Node. I'm now going to do Aries. I'm going to do careers for the first house, the sign Aries, the planet that it rules, and the MC. I'll talk a little bit about the energy and the career field and how things are changing and how the different aspects can play out in your chart. And just going to jump right in. So, Aries rules the first house. First house careers are related to the self, being the first in anything, really. And a lot of the jobs some of the careers that come with Aries are leadership, pioneering in any field, self-directed career, self-employment, um, work that leads to fame, and working alone. So Aries is considered to be a very selfish sign. It rules the first house, so it's related a lot to the self. We just had our, right now, as of May 15th of 2018, Uranus moved into Taurus. But prior to that, we had Aries and Uranus. So entrepreneurship was huge at that time, and then it's only going to grow more with this Uranus and Taurus energy. We'll see the rise of entrepreneurship. Um, so this Aries energy is going to play a really big role over the next 8 years. Um, Self-directed careers. This, and I'll add the Taurus and Uranus video in here so you can understand why I'm saying this. But overall, you know, this energy is kind of deconstructing a lot of the fields that we already have, and we're going to have to come up with creative, innovative ways to kind of create our own resources. Taurus, that's what Taurus rules. So we'll have to make our own, jobs pretty much, and employ people. um, so self-employment is going to be very huge. Work that leads to fame. That's debatable. I don't know what fame is even going to look like in this Uranus age, just because I don't know. It's more like it's so giving. Like you might be, anybody could be famous, right? So I don't know. That's going to look very different than what we know of it to be now. And working alone could be pretty big, or working from home, right? So our daily lives are going to change. We're not going to have this whole 9 to 5 beat anymore. We could be working from home a lot more, and being, working from the digital, from the computer, and still being able to have your roles as parents and, whatever else we do in our personal lives. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the energy plays out. But this this first house energy is going to be pretty big. Like if you have this Aries in any house, really, you're likely to be an entrepreneur in some way, somehow, within that field, within that, wherever that house lies for you. So, say for instance, if you had Aries in your third house, which is ruled by Gemini and the planet Mercury. So anything mercurial or Gemini, and you can be an entrepreneur within that. Um, but you'll do it in a very Aries kind of way, right? You'll be the entrepreneur, you'll be the self-starter, you'll be a self-directed career, you know what I mean? You'll be self-employed. The possibilities of that are big, and whatever you have in your first house, likewise. If you have, I don't know, let's say Taurus in your first house, and that's your rising sign, and that's yourself, who you are. So you'll be You could be a teacher, right? And have your own business as a teacher. What are you teaching? Herbology. Perfect. Right? You're teaching about how to help people, whatever you teach in herbology. Or public relations, or you can be a musician. But just to give you some ideas, like this can play out in so many different ways in your chart. Rams are strong, determined individuals, full of ambition, assertive, outspoken, and dynamic people. They're adventurous, active, and outgoing. So true, right? So, some of the careers that come with the sign Aries are politician, media person, entrepreneur, adventurist, entrepreneur. Come on. I mean, it's a really good chance that wherever you have either Aries in your chart or Aries in your or whatever energy you have in your first house, is very likely that you'll be an entrepreneur in that. Um, Adventurous. I wanted to touch on some of the jobs of what comes with being an adventurous, and this might be some of the things where you get fame, where you get the idea of what it means to be famous. So adventurous are people who jump out of planes. The sun is it how do you call it, the gliding, hang gliding from like one um, spot to another extremely long, crazy distance, or the gondola rides that take you up to the mountaintops, skiing, racing, car racing, monster trucks, anything. I don't want to say destructive, but it's Mars. Mars is ruled by Mars. Aries is ruled by Mars. So and that's not even destructive. It's not the right word, right? It's just adventurous, right? It's really outgoing and crazy, right? What other kind of jobs come with that? Hiking. um those things, that could the people who do the like when you do action movies. Why can I not think of the name of these people? The stuntmen. That's kind of where I get the idea of the fame. When you do stuff like that, you get noticed, right? Mars. Some of the careers that come with Mars are archaeology, athletics, aerobics, yoga, any kind of trainer. Um, Athletes. That's another fame aspect for Aries. Biomedical science. This is going to be very popular with this new energy in Taurus and Uranus. Um, when you're talking about um, having different healing modalities, these kinds of jobs are going to become high demand. Business, communication jobs. Um, Computer science. I think I talked about this in the North and South node, but you know, we're going into the digital age. Computer science is going to take over. I mean, I'm almost positive and not entirely sure why it's not already. It'll become something that you'll be expected to take, like you do math and science and writing. Engineering jobs are going to be huge now. Geology. um, it's really sad that it's not big, but it should be. um, Law enforcement jobs, unfortunately. This is going to become really big too. We're going to have some kind of instability within our infrastructures, and people are going to, Uranus rules revolutions. People are going to march, and they're going to get out there and, protest and, There's going to be a lot of that going on. Military jobs going to be really important. Leadership jobs. Who's going to lead the smaller communities that will be um, setting up with this Taurus and Uranus energy, which is going to be about smaller communities culminating together to feed one another, to generate free energy. You know, these things are, we're going to need a leader. Who's going to lead each small group? Martial arts, because it's Mars. Anything to do with like Tai Chi, karate, any one of those modalities is a good practice to an aggressive Mars energy. Math, mechanical, military. Again, is going to come in high demand. Physical, science, surgeon, and tech work. Some of the careers that will come with the midheaven. Your midheaven is your MC in your birth chart. And your MC in your birth chart is directly related to your career. Depending on where it is in your chart, say if you have your MC in Capricorn, in the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn and ruled by Saturn. That's so you'll have Aries, and you can have an Aries MC in the 10th house. So you'll be very Aries related careers, but in a very Capricorn Saturn kind of way, right? And that can play out different kinds of ways depending on where it falls in your chart. Some of the careers that come with your MC are detectives, journalists, fitness instructor, firefighters, and athletes. So it really speaks to some of the things that I have already read off, which is really cool to see the connection, right? I think it's important to say now, some Aries people might look at this and say, I don't relate to any of those jobs. So some of the other things that can play a really big role in whether or not these jobs will be suited for you are, you have 3 deacons in every zodiac sign. So you have the first deacon, which would be your Pisces Taurus cusp. Then you have your actual Aries, like they probably relate to all of this. Um, and then you have your oh, I said Pisces Taurus, Aries Pisces cusp, and then you have your Aries Taurus cusp, and that's the third deacon, right? So Aries Taurus cusper might relate more to Taurus jobs, right? Um, and on the opposite end of that, Pisces Aries cusp might relate more to the Pisces jobs. And then it makes a difference too, like which houses these are all, which house your sun sign falls in, right? If it's, let's say, the 6th house, then it's about your daily routine, your work, career, your work life, your animals, pets, health, right? So you could be um, a Pisces, Aries, cusper in the 6th house, and be in and not relate to any of those Aries things. Um, and it also plays an effect on where the degree is too. So if you have like Aries in the 6th house and at 1 degree, because it's so low, you still might not be, you could be right in the middle of the actual Aries and still not be related because it's on such a low level, right? Um, and then you have the different aspects that make a really big difference on how this energy plays out for you, whether you struggle with it or not. And, whether it's a helpful aspect for you or not. And then you also have, your transiting cycles. Like I don't know, let's say Jupiter and Sagittarius is transiting your second house and your Aries, um, I don't know, in the third house. It could change something about you, or your career, or have an effect on that in some kind of way. And it might not be a permanent change, it could be a mindset, it could be a change of mind, a change of heart. But these things will also relate to how this your career plays out and all the different aspects that you can go through and experience to say whether or not you'd be interested in any of these Aries um, careers, even though you may be an Aries, right? Um, and I think that about wraps up this series for Aries. Peace.